Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me on our, new topic for discussion. Tonight, this will be a topic for discussion. I wanted to say thank you guys again for joining me on the book study. It was amazing. But tonight, we're going to do topic for discussion, and I hope you guys are ready because this one is very, very good. I don't know if you guys are ready for this, but this is something that needs to be discussed. So, welcome to Evolve. This is the podcast where you're always welcome, where we build one another up, share your opinions, your thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and your feelings, where you're never outcast for being who you are. So I want to say thank you guys for joining me, and you want to stay tuned because this is a good one. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, thank you guys for joining me. We are back. So tonight is our very first in a long time topic for discussion. So tonight, guys, I don't know if we're ready for this, but this is a topic that we need a discussion that we're going to have, or that I'm going to bring forward, and you guys can discuss it among yourselves. So the topic for today, racism today, look into racism on a whole new level. So my question is tonight, does racism still exist today? And if so, to what level do you think it exists? My answer, yes, racism does exist, very much so. And it's more sophisticated today than before. So please allow me to explain how so. For example, you get hired for a job and you've worked that job for quite a while. But during this time, the department in which you work, those above you not only keep an eye on the department, but you as well. And as soon as you arrive, it begins first with, hey, can you do this? Then you didn't do this. Or can you do this? Then what time did you do this? It starts there. Sometimes when you get off work and by the time you get home, you're bombarded. It's emails or texts sent to you about something, and it's often you're the only person that is African American in that department or place of business. So you begin to wonder, why is it always something when you're there? It would be on that level, you're not doing something correctly or forgot, or it will altogether change you. That's one level. It's sophisticated to make it where it does not, where it's done in a way that it's not noticed. Have anyone, dealt with that? Well, but you see it, but because you're supposed to be, I would say, the character of the dummy, they would think, she won't notice. So that's also a level of discrimination as well, because if you have worked in another position and you experience it again in that, new position, then go figure. This is happening. Racism still is rampant today, but it's on a whole different level. It's done in a way that it's not noticeable. And I felt that it was very important that I bring this up because no one talks about it. No one really talks about it. It's more of a you see it kind of thing than, it be discussed, discussed among each other. So So another example is tampering with emails, hacking into accounts and putting things there, that weren't there, previous. For example, an offer letter was sent to you about one position and you went into the office to be told it's something different. But you go to pull up the email to show the person. Somehow it has disappeared. You can't pull it up when you know it was there. So it had to do something with not just your appearance. You dressed nice. It was because of the color of skin. That is how it's done today in a way that is not noticed. And African Americans may not be the only one that is experiencing this. It could be a Mexican. It could be a Chinese. It could be a whole another, race. But yes, racism does exist today, just on a whole different level. Not to mention America, the country that supposedly loves one another. We are here for one another, but we still can't accept the differences in one another. We are still being placed in categories. But according to our dollar bills, we trust in God. And that means every single one of us. But how can we trust in God, who from the beginning created all things good, be filled with this kind of trickery? At least back in the day, you knew who they were who hated people for the color of their skin. But when you're behind a mask and playing games, it could be anyone coming from wherever. And if you don't play the game or know that you're in their game, they label you the dummy. They're laughing, texting gestures in their phone to each other. Yes, it exists, very much so. It's just on a whole different level. In your workplace, your church, your government, it still exists. And it's so strong that you wouldn't even notice it right away. But, if you weren't paying attention. I used to think that I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. I'm just, being, overly conservative. But when I picked up Right Within, a book by the author, Minda Hart, then I knew I was seeing exactly what I was seeing. Here was a woman, very much so had all the qualifications and degrees needed for her position. And still she was experiencing this very thing I was experiencing. Mine was on a whole different level because here I was, just the opposite of, but was being done like I was a pawn in Route 1024 of a chess game. Trying to land that one job that is, a real one that hires me based on my skills and qualifications, not being judged by the color of my skin or played over because of the color of my skin. I know it was the color of my skin because I did, excellent at this particular job I had. Every day I woke up at 7:30 a.m. and started my daily task at that job. I checked off every task, but still and yet because of my skin, I wasn't good enough. I would be told how good I did my job and what a delicious meal I prepared, etc. But still not good enough. And the experience after that just became a roller coaster of repeats, like you apply and then you are hired but categorized. But although I was there to provide care, I would be treated like I was a maid instead of. Another way to say that your skin color is why you're being treated this way. I actually became very frustrated and spoke in anger and asked if there's anything else you need me to do, master. I was being sarcastic, but and having done that, but it was very frustrating and unpleasant even for me to make that comment. I felt, very weird, because I shouldn't say that, but the person wasn't a he that was doing. It was a she who I was speaking to. The type of work I did then, many older individuals still had that mentality. There were times I wanted to end my employment because of the mentality a lot of them had. A lot of bosses don't even realize that or even know it's happening. And if you bring it to their attention, they'll brush it off and keep going as if nothing happened. It's not them. So, but it does happen. And not all are that way. I can count on one hand how many experiences I've had that weren't, who were nice, and weren't afraid if I, even drank, from one of their glasses. I'd speak about this because I am tired of not speaking about it. I needed to bring this, up because it is happening, and we brush it off and we ignore it as if, it's not happening. But racism is done on a whole different level, even from your very own, which is common, but has been, it has been acceptable. You don't even realize that everyday people get hurt in this way. Every day it's like a mental game playing with your mind. Don't tell you these, days, but you just have, you just have to see it. It's what it's called, see it. And if you don't see it, then you'll be stuck in it, because racism isn't done in the way it used to be done. You go to apply at another job or place of business. It's like information is shared and then you're experiencing the same thing. Just this time, your personal information is disclosed at all the jobs having applied. You see it in the eyes when you walk in. You see it, you're like, it's here too. I honestly used to keep my very own political opinions to myself, but I strongly feel that when this particular individual became president, that there was something that signaled in the U.S. that racism was okay and to enforce once again. But if it's not racism, then it's something else allowing innocent individuals to become exposed to this type of mental torture is what I call it. I am not a racist, nor do I discriminate against anyone, no matter who you are, what color you are, what background you come from. Although it's been difficult to tolerate a particular group, I don't discriminate against anyone. So why does this matter? Because it does. With all the smiling faces I get, how are you? Smiling at the bottom line and fake, I like real people. I am always real with anyone that I meet. Just like your boss telling you, I think you'd be great for this position, or you're going to do well, to only shut you down. You're left with what I thought you said, You're left with what I thought you said. Go figure. When you're a person in the power seat, nothing matters to some but being in control, and even to the point of being, in control of that person they're targeting. If you're a black person, God help you. It's all I can say, because I have seen it in my face. We stick together. Your other peers are just looking on and not saying nothing, not saying, hey, don't just, look onward. This is happening in America, and it's happening more frequently than not. So I am going to stop here, and then I'm going to continue on with the topic for discussion. So stay with me.